Hi, this is Dr. Frank Thomas, and I am presently in Johannesburg, South Africa. I have flown 9,000 miles to do a conference at the invitation of Pastor Carl Hendricks on my new book, The Choice and the Workbook. We had a phenomenal weekend together at the conference, and so Pastor Carl Hendricks is sitting here with me. And so, Pastor Carl, would you just say hello to our audience and then start by giving us a sense of just how Under African Skies Conference and The Choice went over the weekend?
Well, first of all, give me the opportunity just to say thank you for coming all the way. 18-hour flight. That's not around the corner, isn't
Right.
it?
No, it's not.
It must be your passion
Right.
to fly that long hours. Well, I must just say, man, our congregation received you well. The leadership encounter was just outstanding. It was really, the season is absolutely right for people to learn to know who they are. But thank you so much for coming. It's our flagship conference Under African Skies, and it was really our joy and our pleasure for us to having you here with us in South Africa, of course.
Well,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you. You have just been gracious to have me several times and many times across the years, and so I appreciate it. I love this congregation, and it was a blessing for me to be here. So, over the weekend, would you say that folks were blessed, that the congregation and the leaders were really blessed by The Choice?
Of course, yes, they were definitely blessed, because I think for everyone it's just about a great challenge to learn to know who you are, and also to know what your passion really is, and how to live your life to the fullest.
Right.
I think everyone was just entirely blessed
Right.
about the weekend. Yes.
Well, thanks. Thanks. I was too. My wife and my family, we were all blessed. So when you first encountered The Choice, what was the impact of The Choice on your life?
Well, Frank, the first time I attended a workshop with you in Chicago, and at that stage you didn't have the workbook out.
Right.
And I was so thrilled and excited about it, because the questions that you posed that day, it was a small group, but the questions that you posed that day were so deep that you don't have a choice but to answer those questions. And I realized that if that could change me, that will change many more people, and specifically our congregation. And that's the reason why I decided, man, let me get you down here and come and give us, I think you did more than 8 sessions with our congregational, as a matter of fact, with our leadership. And we could not get everyone in. The idea is just to have 100 leaders. We ended up 260 people coming.
Right.
But everyone wants to know who they are and what's the function and purpose in life.
You know, you have one of the premier conferences Under African Skies in South Africa, and people from all over South Africa come to the conference. So what was your sense in inviting me to do The Choice of the impact of The Choice on South Africa?
Well, in general, the bigger view of South Africa, we are just babies out of the apartheid. And sometimes you are slaves to other people's opinions.
Right.
And during the apartheid, you could just pursue a few careers, like teaching or nursing. And you're kind of being in a mindset, and you really don't know who you are. But with a choice, you have to dig deep and you have to ask hard questions. Like I guess worldwide, everyone would love to know who they are. But in the South African context, are you doing what you are doing just based on an income, or are you happy with what you are busy doing?
Right.
And this was more the idea within the context of South Africa, breaking strongholds around being framed in a specific mindset.
Right.
And that's why the choice is so important to us.
So how did The Choice fit into the vision of the ministry of Crystal?
The choice fits like a glove. I think the choice will not just fit into my ministry or in our vision. It fits in every ministry. We have an acronym entitled Destiny. I will not give you the whole acronym for the sake of our recording, but I'll just give you the 2 first letters. The D stands for Dream Big.
Yeah.
And the one immediately after is E, standing for Establishing Strong Families. So all of a sudden, the choice came alive within our vision, where everyone have to dream. You have to dream of who you want to be, where you'd love to be.
Right.
And the choice is that vehicle, helping you fulfilling that dream. The establishing strong families fits in our vision with the choice. Everyone wants successful families. But if you're unhappy, if you're not content, if you don't know who you are, you will not be a happy father.
Right.
You will not be a happy mother. You will not be happy kids. So if the whole family knows exactly who they are within the choice, living your passion from the inside out, finding your passion, makes family life easy, makes church life easy. So the choice fits like a glove, because the key is really for each and everyone to know who they are.
Wow.
And that is important. That's so important for us, because it's easy on the congregation. It's easy for the pastor.
Right.
If your congregation knows who they are, there will be less offense, less defense.
Right.
They will be content. They will not peep over the fence into another one's department. They will be happy and joyful for where they are, and they just live their best.
Right.
I think that fits well in our vision.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would you say to a pastor or a leader who might be considering using the Choice Book and the Choice Workbook?
Well, I can just say I wish I had the choice 20 years back. And well, there's a time and a season for everything. Because if I had to get our congregational members and top leadership earlier to a place of understanding and knowing who they are,
Right.
it would have been easier for me up to this point. For the challenges for Crystal Ministries International was always leadership challenges. And our problematic side of the leadership challenges was always a leader not knowing who they are.
Right.
And every time when you interview, you can almost say exit interview with the leader that's leaving a department. They always talk about other departments and never their department. and they're never accountable for their department. It's always somebody else.
Right. Right.
So the choice is really helping us to get to a point, and it will help any other church and any other pastor to have leadership that knows their passion, content. It's easy to work with that type of leadership. I would say that is just a 100% benefit to any other pastor out there. That it's a necessity. It's not even something to think of.
Right.
To bring somebody in and help you to train your people to think differently, to approach life differently, and also the joy that the pastor have to see that the congregational member lives their passion, and you see the happiness on their face.
Right.
And they enjoy, as you always say in your lectures, they enjoy standing up, getting up in the morning, facing their day.
They really do.
They don't drag themselves because they love what they do.
Right.
And that is important for me. Well, I must just also add, Frank, in the past, I just wanted people just to do stuff just to get along. And it was really not important if they really called for that or not. They just showed a little interest in that area. I never went that far to make double sure that it is their passion. And if something is your passion, you don't have to drag the person. And that's the advantage
Right.
of bringing somebody like you into your church and just help you to help them. Yeah.
If I were a individual or a lay person and I wanted to work on the choice by myself, so outside of I may not have a church or
Yes.
church group or pastor who's pushing the choice, what would you say to me is just as an individual, just I'm interested, help me know what as an individual outside of a group context I might get out of the choice.
I remember when you started working on the choice. We were on a retreat somewhere in Missouri. And when we were there, I don't know if I was experimental in the whole situation, but you posed the right questions in any case.
Right.
For a moment, I could dislocate myself from the congregation. And I could stand as an individual.
Right.
I had to answer individual questions that got nothing to do with the congregation.
Right.
And it helped me as a person.
Right.
How this will help a lay person is simply, you might be in a work situation for many years, but you are there because of the salary,
Right.
your income, your wage, and you are not there because you are doing it because you love it or it's your passion. You're doing it for the money,
Right.
and there are times when you live your passion, that you will work for less money,
Right.
but you're every day a happy person. And that's the difference. So I would say for the lay person, it's so important for you to live your passion. And this is where the choice really, really help you to unfold. The way I see it, you are now like a closed flower. And it's almost like sunrise.
Wow.
And the choice is like the sun rays. And it comes upon you, and you open up like a flower. And when it opens up, you smell the aroma of the flower. I will say with a choice, you smell you,
Right.
the new you.
Right.
It smells good.
Right.
And you want to be alive. You want to be open to the world. You want to open up to friends.
Right.
Because you're content, you know who you are, you know where you're going to. It's non-threatening. The only competition that you have is self.
Right.
And nobody else.
Wow.
And I think for any person out there, if you're in directorship, if you're in a company, you're a CFO, you're a MD, it doesn't matter who you are. You need to find yourself and ask yourself this simple question. Am I doing what I'm supposed to do? Is this me? Right. Is this my passion?
Right.
Am I called for this? Is this really, really my passion? Do I enjoy standing up in the morning? I love that phrase. Is it good for you to open your eyes in the morning and say, wow, this is another day?
Wow.
Even though it's challenging,
Right.
but because it's your passion,
Right.
you're prepared to approach the day and make the best of that day. Yeah.
I was wondering if you would key our viewers in to the Missouri experience and talk about when we sat down at the table and the diary. So just
yeah. maybe that. You know, I was struggling. I'm just about to serve my final paper on my master's to the committee at the university, and I was struggling when we were in Missouri just to get the research proposal together. And I said, well, talk to me about this whole thing, and we were sitting in a chair, and I think at that stage the choice was really fresh.
Right.
It was really fresh, and you tried this choice on me. But you asked the right questions.
Right.
You said, okay, tell me about your year. What are you doing in 1 month? What are you doing in 1 year? What are you doing in a day? It was so hard to answer that question, but because I do such a lot. So I guess within 3 minutes we were done. But then you asked me to connect with my secretary at home in South Africa. We were in America. Just to give me 3 years of diary. She managed to send me the 3 years of diary. And we, including me, were shocked about my workload. It was more than over 30 stuff different things. I'm talking from counseling, domestic counseling, premarital counseling. We're talking about preaching. We're talking about different engagements, over 30 different things in my diary. And you looked at it and you started to laugh. And you said, no, that's the reason why you cannot get to your research proposal. And you asked a critical question. What is it that you can give away? And what is it that you cannot? Like, for instance, a date night with your wife. You can't give that away. You have to do that yourself.
Right.
The research proposal, you have to do that yourself.
Right.
Like, for instance, meeting up with a friend. You cannot give that away. So there's certain things, preaching, preparation of the sermon. Those things you cannot give away. You have to do it yourself. So we just place the things that I can do on the one side. And everything else we place on the other side of our column. And I was shocked that since that day, I can't even remember what month it was, but 3 months later, I served my research proposal within 3, and I struggled a year. And 3 months later, I served my research proposal. And I must just say that is the power of the choice. It singles you out. It gets you. It forces you to a place where you have to do what you are called for.
Right.
Because sometimes you have your hands and your fingers in too many pies.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. We all do.
Yeah.
We do.
Well, thank you so much for coming to South Africa again. You are more than welcome at any point in time, and I'm looking forward to having more encounters with the choice.